Okay, let's dive into this. We are going to tackle one of those financial exam questions that's literally designed to make you panic. And we're going to solve it in our heads with no calculator. You ready?
Right, so take a look at this. You're in an exam, the clock is ticking, and this beast of a question pops up. You see all these numbers, you see the word quarterly, and your brain just kind of goes into overdrive. But what if I told you that most of what you're looking at is just noise?
So here's the thing. Our mission here isn't to be some kind of human calculator and find the answer down to the last penny. No way. The real mission is to simplify the math, get a really solid ballpark answer, and then confidently pick the right choice from the list.
And this right here is the absolute key to so many of these exam questions. They're not just testing your math skills, they're testing if you can see what actually matters. So let's cut through all that noise together. You know the first piece of noise we're going to throw out? That word quarterly. Honestly, for a question like this, it's a total distraction. It's a red herring designed to send you down this complicated rabbit hole of calculations. So we're just going to ignore it and treat this like a simple annual problem. So let's just strip it all down. This is the real problem we're solving. $1,000 a year at 6% for 10 years. That's it. All of a sudden, that feels a whole lot more manageable, doesn't it? Okay, so how do we actually turn that simplified problem into an answer? It's easy. I'm going to walk you through a super simple 3-step mental trick you can use every single time you see something like this. So here's the game plan. First, we're going to approximate the trickiest part of the whole formula. Then we'll use that number to quickly find our annuity factor. And finally, we'll do one super simple multiplication to get our answer. Let's do it. All right, step 1. Now, this is the only part that requires a little bit of a mental leap. How on earth do we figure out what 1.06 to the power of 10 is without a calculator? Here is the shortcut you need to burn into your brain. 6% interest for 10 years gets you really close to doubling your money, but you're not quite there. Just remembering that simple rule of thumb is our launchpad. So how do we dial that in a bit closer? Well, a lot of folks in finance just kind of know that after 5 years at 6%, your money grows by about 34%. So to get to 10 years, we just square that number. We do 1.34 times 1.34. And what does that give us? Well, you don't need to be exact. It's about 1.8. For a multiple choice question, believe me, 1.8 is the magic number we need. We've just conquered the hardest part of the math right there. Okay, let's keep the momentum going and roll into step 2. We're going to take our new number, 1.8, and plug it right into a simplified version of that scary-looking future value annuity formula. So, the annuity factor formula is really just your interest growth, that's our 1.8, minus 1, all divided by the interest rate. So for us, that's 1.8 minus 1, which is 0.8, divided by 0.06. Now hold on, don't get bogged down in long division. That's not the point. Think about this like you're a banker trying to make a quick deal. Ask yourself, what number times 6 cents gets you close to 80 cents? Let's just try it in our heads. What about 13? Okay, 13 times 0.06. That's 0.78. Hey, that's pretty close. Can we get a little closer? What about 13.2? Let's see, 13.2 times 0.06 gets us 0.792. Wow. That is almost exactly 0.8. I think we found our number. And there it is. That's the result of step 2. Our annuity factor is just about 13.2. We are so close to the final answer now. And now for step 3, which is by far the easiest part of this whole thing. We just take our annual payment, that's $1,000, and we multiply it by the annuity factor we just found, 13.2. That gives us our estimated future value, $13,200. So we have our number. This is the moment of truth, right? Let's take our ballpark answer and see how it stacks up against the actual options you'd probably see on the exam. And here they are. A pretty typical spread for multiple choice. You can immediately see that 2 of these are just way off, right? We know we're looking for something in the low 13,000s. And just look at this. This is where you see the real power of this trick. Our quick mental math got us to 13,200. And look at option B, 13,181. I mean, come on, it is an almost perfect match. We're off by less than $20. And that's it. You can circle B with absolute confidence, move on, and save yourself a ton of time and stress. We took a complicated-looking problem and we just dismantled it in our heads in probably under a minute. That's a huge advantage. But what I really want you to take away from this is that this isn't just some one-off trick for one single problem. No, this is a system. This is a whole new playbook for how you can attack these kinds of calculations. You can even build a tiny little mental table. You know that for a 10-year period, the annuity factor for 5% is about 12.6. For 6%, we just found it, it's about 13.2. And for 7%, it's around 14.8. If you can memorize just those three numbers, you will look like an absolute wizard on your exam. So this all leaves us with a final thought to chew on. This was just one example, right? The real skill here is learning to spot the noise, focus on the core numbers, and use these smart approximations. So what other problems that seem impossible at first could actually be simplified with a little street smart trick?